when you are in a place where you need to make money, you are not that much regarding you are going for it.
I felt so, it was actually like a wake up call. Those are your two options right now at the moment.
Hello, and welcome to Revin's Unfiltered Diary to Survive, or let's just say differently, Broke But Not Broken series. I think this is episode 8 tonight. Tonight. It's true that we are the evening, but it's more today. I am really happy to come back. It has been an habit to come and film, sometimes more to think about what I'm going to share, especially when it's more quiet. Quiet is nice as well. We do not need, and I do not want to experience drama all the time. But there are more stuff that are worth to be shared. Maybe a month, slightly over a month ago. What does that mean for someone like me, for instance, who does absolutely its best to stay in alignment, to follow synchronicity, to clean all the traumas, all the drama, to heal and to become closer and closer every day from my true self, to become stronger, determining what I really want to do with my life, where I want to do it, how I want to do it. Those are all questions, vital questions, especially when you work even on personal growth. It's not necessarily because it's spiritual. I like to say that spiritual work is the sister or the neighbor of personal growth. You start with personal growth, and without even noticing, you are immediately into the playground of spirituality, cleaning all of the dirt that is blocking you in your life. So, how does that work when you really want to stick to this? Not just because you are working hard at changing, at making that happen, but because it matters, just like it matters to me. And it mattered to me a few weeks ago. Someone here, a local, a Mexican, a friend, or new friends, got me an interview at a local spa, really in the heart of downtown, in the many areas where many of tourists or expats are leaving for the winter. Since I was a massage therapist for 10 years, so I have the experience for this. So I was really more than happy to go at that spa and have that interview. It's managed by local Mexican women. That's cool. Going in that direction was following more a survival mode for me. Was I can't find a way to find other job, to make other work, even the one-time work that will make me money. At the moment, there is no clients coming in. And I was slipping, despite my best efforts, into some kind of a survival, a bit desperate mode. That's why I went into the direction of massaging. Not that I necessarily have a lot against it, but I'm happy that my body healed physically for those from those 10 years. So I wasn't really that much excited, but between any other nothing excitement and that, well, it was a tiny, tiny, tiny little bit more exciting. And when you are in a place where you need to make money, you are going for it. So I went for the interview and it went well. And when it was all about talking for how much is going to be paid, how much is it working at that place, and I really want to specify, of course, I'm not going to say the space, that it is at that place, but I still have a pretty good feeling that it's a good general indication of how is it really in the city. And especially, well, I wanted to say especially when you are gonna target tourists, it's pretty much anywhere in the city it's gonna be. So yeah. Well, obviously, I would have been the last to be hired. I know how it works. It's the same logic at that state with anywhere else in other spot. You have other employees, men and women, working and giving massage, first hired to the next, to the next, to the next. So obviously, I was going to be the last on the list to get massage. I was expecting that. I kind of have in my mind before going a rough idea amount of would be, what it would be great to receive. And I really lowered and lowered and lowered and lowered down. An hour massage would be nice to have, I don't know, 400 pesos, maybe 300 pesos. It's not that much. When I heard that it was gonna be 180 pesos for 60 minutes, it was a cold shower. It was a cold shower. But still, I was listening because maybe there is more that can make it work.
But actually, it was the only best part concerning the finances. It's about being in the streets with whatever the different services that are offered, massages or manicure, pedicure, or haircut. Everyone was gonna be in the street for a few minutes, but many times, a few times during the day, and trying to sell or service massage if it's yours or any other. That's how it works. So you have the clientels that knows the massage therapist, and they're gonna come and ask for that specific massage therapist. If someone is coming asking specifically for me and knowing that I am new, so nobody knows me, obviously, nobody has been touched, massaged by me. If someone asks for me, this is when I'm going to receive the 180 pesos for a massage. If someone comes asking for nobody, and I would be kind of the next in line available for doing a massage, the 180 pesos would be shared between everyone else. I'm doing the massage, but everyone gets something out of it. So I don't even want to count how much it would be. It's beyond the point. I appreciate that since I would have been the only employee speaking English and at that level of English. No, I think the only one speaking English. So I could have, they offered me to go where often in the streets to sell really any services, not particularly massages, and to get 5% on the cost of what the client will pay. Usually, from what she told me, it was like 800 pesos that they are paying at that place. So you count 5% from that, still not really going that far. Yes, there is tips, but first you need to do your service for that. Pay tip is still not guaranteed. It's still up to the clients if they want to leave something. And it's really not, especially here, despite the fact that everyone knows, even if many are hiding the head inside the sand and not look at the reality that the minimum rate, or the minimum hourly rate is extremely ridiculous for any human being. Tips are making whole difference. So you have no guarantee that someone is going to leave you a tip and a good tip. And that's the same for everywhere. But I mean, it matters more in a country like Mexico. I mean, it was kind of a screaming in my head, like, no fucking way. Not because I couldn't imagine going that low, It's really not that. It's really the no fucking way that it cannot happen. It takes time. If it wasn't even paid differently, if non-requested massage, you had the full 180 pesos, but it's like, come on, seriously, it's really not doable. The other employees who are working there for years, they can make their month like very easily, depending on the season, that's for sure, but they can make it happen. I'm not saying that nobody's there, or in the majority of places they can't make it happen, but they are working there for years. They have that clientele. So it's very different. Despite all this, that I knew that it wouldn't be doable for me. Anyone is worth more than that. But I said that I was gonna think about it. Probably I'm gonna come the next day to start working. But yeah, I in my head and or on paper, I needed to make some math and see if some kind of miracle I'm missing something. But where I want to bring the element of alignment is now at this point. When I left the spa, I I was barely walking the sidewalk to go back to the place where I will be able to take a colectivo. It's bus of the city to bring me closer from my place, because pretty much at the other side of the city, I really heard. Remember that I am clairaudience. I heard almost with a scream of determination and conviction, the voice telling me, "You gonna go back home. You do nothing else but working on task force, doing all of those country. You don't have to get out even to get food. You do not do anything. You do that. That is ridiculous. This is where you're supposed to go." And at that time, it was as well. And first, you do the assessments in data annotation that I kind of apply, if the word is correct, applying for data annotation. We'll see if I will ever be accepted into the family, but so far I haven't heard about them. But according to YouTube and all the different ones who are sharing their experience, it can be fast, it can take long, or it can never happen. But nevertheless, not just the voice and not just the message that was delivered to me, it was the feeling I felt. So it was actually like a wake up call. It was like I needed at some point to experience the interview just to hear about the money, just to hear about the payment, how it works. They were willing to take me without paper. So that was good. It's really not about the place. It's really like it's everywhere like this. Or it's mostly everywhere like this. But it really felt like a wake up call. Like, what the fuck? You're not gonna find, or not gonna find now, anything here physical. You have to go online. And those are your two options right now at the moment. Even if I knew that data annotation is a long shot to be accepted, but that would be nice. And that task verse, it's like, well, I don't know how much I'm going to be paid. And it's like, it's not ideal. It's not a big thing. It's not a big paycheck, but it was like so much push and determination for that. And you know what? It felt right. That's the difference. When I went for the interview for the massage, it didn't feel good. Not that I felt, inside sick or whatever. It felt like I am forcing myself to do something to survive, which has nothing wrong per se. Even if I didn't know how was it gonna be turning out for me with, I'm gonna be accepted in data annotation. It was an uncertain option and possibility. It's not that it was a done deal. Even by going and doing everyday task first and the first task. And I didn't know how much I was going to be paid. So it wasn't, again, a done deal like the task is worth $50 or $100 or whatever it was. I have no idea at the end of the day how much is it going to be, but it felt right. And you know what else that I realized, that all of this time that I spent working on UAE and looking at all of those pictures and the differences of what the culture has to offer, I was really, and I said many times to myself, that I was really grateful for the time that I had spent on that task. Because if it wouldn't have been for this, I would never have considered the possibility of wanting to go one day in UAE and to visit. I discovered so many beautiful places and landmarks and historical, cultural for centuries, even millennia in some places. Well, obviously, this is some stuff that fascinating me. So it was a great opportunity to see a different side. The other side, well, I'm not going to go in that direction, but the side of the country, this is something that I wouldn't have tried necessarily, or to have the curiosity to really go and see, explore. So I'm grateful for that time. But to go back into the financial and the money, it's like, yeah, I didn't know, but it feels so right, so good. But it was a bit difficult, that juggling between doing that was taking so much time, and getting closer from the deadline, from being eventually evicted, and not knowing, still not having any money and what to do. So that kind of juggling is tough, because it's like, on one side, I really want to keep working on myself and I really want to maintain that level of frequency as best as I can. And I really do not want to fall into desperate mode and wind up and cry and being crazy over the fact that I wasn't experiencing it. Because every time that I was doing some meditation, or that I'm still doing some meditation, I am capable, at the moment, well, not the moment right now, but lately, to reach such a profound level of calmness and peacefulness within, um, that it's like it's boosting my whole level of energy, and I am capable of facing super peacefully, or as calm as it is possible despite the situation. You saw me in the past few episodes, like, crying out. I did many times, that's for sure. I remember I was the one crying, but it was more facing the non-reaction, the indifference of people around. It was more that got me. And that is because of who I am, who I've always been, and who is getting kind of bigger and better at the same time, of being more in love, more in compassion, more with kindness for everyone. The universe knew how much I worked at understanding that, and at improving that state of mind, of pushing aside any judgment, any frustration, any critics. But it got difficult for the past few days, or last week, I should say, to be able to fully detach myself about that indifference, um, of people around here, and in general, that I could see by not seeing. Sure, they are worst life experienced at the moment. But I already said that each life is worth of being seen, heard, and supported if needed, and especially if it's asked. It's not because one is way, and it's not even how do you determine that someone experiencing whatever other dramatic life that it could be, maybe a matter of life of death, that it is worthy of taking the time to stop and to support and to help, compared to someone who will end up in the streets, who has no money, who has no one, no family to help? So does that mean that ending up in the street of having no one and nobody doesn't has no worth compared to someone who had I don't know, health issues, or who, I don't know even what else. I mean, who would be living in violence? What I try to say, maybe not the best way. I never said that I am perfect. Anyway, nobody's perfect. Each life has a huge value because everyone has its own contract, its own experience to go through. Everyone is living its own drama, its own worth, its own difficulty. And there is not one that should be pushed aside because of this or because of that. I think we are plenty enough on the planet to be able to spread ourselves and to support whoever is asking for help. We are plenty enough to do that, but it's all going down to one thing. Do we want to, or do we want to stay inside our bubbles and not seeing? Do we keep picking up who is worthy of receiving help according to some old world society mentality and thoughts? I'm just spreading the seed that if we can land into some fertile soil for building this brand new world that everyone wants, and yes, and yet everyone keeps bringing the old world's way of doing. So this is what I wanted to share with you today. This experience of really alignment, of being in a situation of survival and yet deciding to go with alignment. And alignment have paid off at the end of struggling and fighting to do the best. Because at the end of the day, we're all human. Last time I checked, most of us. And we're really all doing our best at getting better, at doing better. And I certainly do my best for that. Thank you so much for watching every time the videos. I really appreciate that so much. Remember to subscribe and to like the video and to share. There are many others who this topic of today or any other videos that I had can be helpful. Just to know that they are not the only one experiencing it, and it can make a difference at knowing that. In the description will be link for the Broke But Not Broken playlist if you have missed any of the previous episode, or to really understand what is really going on, all of this bloodletting. We're going to see what is going to happen in episode 9, because aside from what I shared to you today, the interview still got to be pushed again for tomorrow, Thursday. And I started to pack. I started to do some triage of what to sell, what to give away. Nothing much, because pretty much everything else I'm using and I need, but it's a good start. We are getting there. I am super excited for Sunday. Onyx, I am telling her, trying to prepare her that she's gonna be sharing with another cat, with lovely cats. And I don't know, yes, about her excitement, but she definitely can feel that things are moving in some direction, because I moved the suitcases. And obviously, they know when their guardians are touching the suitcase, it's like, oh, something's going on here. So it's just telling her over and over and over that we are together going somewhere else, and it's not just me. The adventure continue for Onyx and I in Mexico, and I'm gonna keep sharing with you everything that is happening. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.